You see any highlights, or is it just kind of the gray grid?
No, nothing.
It's pretty well camouflaged now.
Okay. We have a little more wrap.
What time do we go live for YouTube?
Anytime. YouTube is more for
For the best car, SUV, or truck, guess what?
Hello and welcome to the Frontier Motor Show. This is Iven Streckel, owner of Frontier Motors. And for the next half an hour, we're going to talk about what's going on in the car business. Don't turn that channel because you might not be interested in the car business right now, but we talk about a lot of other stuff too. Well, actually, that's an exaggeration. That's really not true. It's all about car business. But even if you're not in the market for a car, maybe you will be. And I have a lot of customers that have told us that, well, I'm not going to buy another car for 20 more years. And a year later, they're in. Well, why are they in? Well, because their car got crashed. Maybe a hurricane got it, maybe it got flooded, maybe a tree fell on it. A lot of different things. And that leads me into a whole different section of what we're going to be talking about as far as what we can do to help you once, I shouldn't say once you got in an accident. I'm not hoping that you get in an accident, but just in case, there's things that we can do to help you. Again, this show has been going on here for 25 years in the Pensacola area. I think we're the longest running car show on Blab TV right now. And we started this in 1996. So we've been doing it for quite a while. And we are here to get the word out that there is a car dealership in Pensacola that's not here just to grab your wallet and sell you a car, but that's here to actually give you advice whether you buy that car from us or whether you buy it from your neighbor or maybe somebody at work or maybe actually even from another car dealership. And you can call us for advice when you're looking at a car, even if it's another car dealer. Don't be embarrassed if you found a car driving down the road and you say, hey, I like that car, and you took it for a test drive. Before you sign on the dotted line, you call us and you give us a 17-digit ID number. We will do a free Carfax report for you. We will also tell you what a fair price on that particular car is with the equipment and the features on the car. The only thing that we can't tell you about is the condition of the car. We would love for you to take that car and drive it over to us and let us evaluate the condition for you. And at the auctions, for example, the conditions are from 0 being a complete, a turd, so to speak, to being a 5, which is about as good as a new car is going to be. So when we buy cars at auctions, for example, Frontier Motors, if the vehicle is not at least a 4, which is in excellent condition, to a 5, we don't even look at the car. A lot of car dealerships buy cars that are rated poorly on purpose. Now, why would they do that? Only one reason: so they can advertise it cheap. So a car, the condition of the car itself is the single biggest determination of what a car sells for. It's not the equipment, it's not the miles, it's not the color, even though all those things are important, but it's the condition. Because if a car is kind of a rat, what I mean by that is a car's scratched up, it's been smoked in, maybe it's got dog hair all over it, the tires are iffy, half the features on the car aren't working properly, well, that vehicle's book value is still the same. So if you call your banker and they say book it out for $25,000 and you pay $25,000 for that car, you might have got that car for $4,000 less if it was booked out properly with the proper condition. At Frontier Motors, I've had customers already come into us and at times have said that, your car is not the cheapest one out there. Well, I never ever have advertised in 25 and a half years that we have the cheapest cars out there. What I've advertised is that we have the best deal. And what I mean by the best deal is the best deal is made up of a lot of components. And one of the components is going to be, of course, condition. I've already talked about that. The other one is going to be the equipment on the car. Wouldn't you pay more for a car that has the top rated safety features, which all cost extra? I don't know of any car where all the safety features are standard. I know Toyota's getting there. Toyota now has adaptive cruise control. Of course, they all have the ABS brake system, standard anti-lock brakes. They all have the airbag system, but not every car has side airbags. And what happens when you're going through Pensacola? The number one accident I see in Pensacola is people running yellow and red lights. So you get T-bone. Well, if you don't have side airbags, those front airbags aren't going to help you too much. And that goes back to what I was talking about, is features. Wouldn't you pay more for the safety features? Maybe surround cameras, automatic stopping, automatic cruise control. Wouldn't you pay more for a car that has less miles on it? Wouldn't you pay more for a car that's a good looking car versus an ugly car? And the books are the same. They don't ask you if it's good looking, but you can tell a car if you look at one car and it's purple with a pink interior, you think that's going to be the same price as a car that's white with a tan interior? That could be a $2,000-$3,000 difference right there just because of the color and the looks of the car alone. And I've had customers already that have bought cars from us. I said, well, how come you bought the car from us? Well, because yours was the color that I wanted. Color plays a big deal, and I've lost deals because of that, where maybe I have a black one, the customer doesn't want a black one, or maybe I had a black interior and they wanted a white interior. And that leads me into one other thing, is that we don't have the car for you. Let us try to locate that car. Give us a week, give us 2 weeks. So if you want a car that's a different color, you like everything about our car, rather than buy somewhere else, give us the opportunity to get that car in primo condition with you, the right color and the right equipment. Even Consumers Report says I've got an article that they wrote last year. It says the sweet spot on a used car is 2 and 3. I think 1 year old, but they're saying 2 to 3 year old used cars are often the best deals when shopping for a car. 2 to 3 years. They don't say buy a brand new one. They don't say buy a 5-year-old one. They say 2 to 3 years is the best. Their price is lower than a comparable new car, obviously, and continuing expenses such as collision insurance and taxes are lower. Obviously, if you buy a car of less value because it's now been depreciated, your insurance is going to be less because a lot of their premium is based on replacement value. So if your replacement value is going to be $20,000 instead of $35,000, well, of course, your insurance is going to be lower. Obviously, if you pay taxes on $20,000, let's just round it off at 7%, you're going to be paying $1,400 in taxes instead of paying maybe $2,000 in taxes on that car when it's brand new. The other thing also is that for the same dollar amount of a new one, you might be able to get a car that's 1 year old, but it might have $7,000 more of equipment on it that you couldn't afford if you're buying a brand new, because maybe you're already looking at a brand new car and maybe your budget's $25,000. You've settled on a $28,000 car, so you're already over budget. But I've got a car that was $37,000 brand new that has the leather interior. It has the electric trunk opener. It's got electric doors on it. Maybe it's got the panoramic roof, and it's got all those safety features I was talking about before, and it's the same price as a new one. I would buy a 1 year old car with more safety equipment, even if it's got 5,000 or 7,000 miles on it, over the brand new one, especially if my car smells like brand new, it hasn't been in an accident, it's not nicked up or scratched in, and still has the remainder of the factory warranty. So if you're buying, let's use a Hyundai, for example. A Hyundai has one of the best new car warranties in the business. It's a 5-year, 60,000-mile bumper-to-bumper warranty. So let's say you buy that car, it's 1 year old. You still get 4 years of warranty. Well, guess what you get when you buy a brand new Toyota or Honda, which supposedly are the best cars in the business? You get a 3-year warranty. So you buy a brand new Honda or Toyota, you get 3 years. You buy a used Hyundai from us, you still get 4 years of warranty, bumper to bumper. So which one's going to be a better deal? And we look at Consumers Reports right now, they rate the cars. Right now, they've got Honda at number 6, and they've got Hyundai at number 11, only 3 points out of contention. In other words, this is reliability standings that I'm talking about. Lexus is number 1, and who would have thought that the number 2 car out there for reliability is not a Toyota, not a Honda or a Subaru, which all have good reputations. It's a Mazda. Mazda is one of the up-and-coming cars, and the cool thing about a Mazda is you can buy a Mazda thousands of dollars cheaper than a new Toyota or Honda, or a used Toyota or Honda. Hondas and Toyotas, because of their reputation, hold their value better. So when I buy them, I pay more for them. That means you paid more for them. Well, if I buy a Mazda, which is not as well known, but according to Consumer Reports, is actually a better car for reliability, they're a better deal. Sometimes you can buy a Mazda CX-5 for $3,000 to $4,000 less than a Toyota RAV4 or a Honda CR-V if you're looking for that small-sized SUV, which, by the way, they're not small anymore. If you look at a new Toyota RAV4 or a Honda CR-V, they've actually lengthened them by about 6 or 7 inches. So they're actually a pretty big vehicle. But it's really interesting how Mazda is number 2, Toyota is number 3, Infiniti, which used to be way down there. Infiniti is a really cool car. They weren't known for the reliability. They are now number 4. Buick, who would have thought that a domestic would be in the top 5? A Buick right now is number 5, and they've been there for about 5 years now. And of course, we've got a local Buick dealer, which is great. And Buick is the only one domestic that's made the top 10. Then you've got Honda, Subaru, Acura, Nissan, and Mini Cooper and Hyundai. And then one of the things that I talked about the last time is Tesla, which has a 74% improvement in sales this year over last year, is second to last. Isn't that interesting how Tesla is taking the world by storm, selling cars like crazy? I don't think I've ever talked to a customer that didn't like a Tesla if they've driven one, only because they're so quiet, they're so fast, you don't burn any fuel in them, even though you've got to charge them every once in a while. But they're not very reliable according to Consumer Reports. One of the lowest ones out there. Actually, they're not. It's not that they're not very reliable. They're not reliable at all. And their product, the product that they put on the shelf, which I don't know, when I say put on the shelf, they don't even have dealerships anymore. Matter of fact, there are numerous lawsuits nationwide right now because of, I was going to say copyright, but franchise infringements. You know, if you're a Chevrolet dealership, you know that Chevrolet manufacturer, General Motors, they can't sell to the public. Did everybody know that you have to go through a Chevrolet dealership? If you Ford Motor Company out of Detroit cannot sell you a car, they have to go through a dealership. Tesla, they can sell anybody they want. They don't have any dealerships. How's that possible? Now, that's why they are, of course, being sued by other manufacturers, because other manufacturers can't do themselves. Can you imagine if they all cut up every Chevrolet dealership? I think the last time I counted, it was like over 5,000 Chevrolet dealerships nationwide. Can you imagine how ticked off they would be if Chevrolet started selling cars directly from the factory? Ford is doing that a little bit. I ordered a new Bronco for myself. Now, I always tell people to buy used because that's how I make a living. But I've ordered a new Bronco because I have a dealer friend that told me he would sell me one of the new Broncos, which are selling for over list price. He told me he would sell me one for cost, for dealer cost. So I could still pay the taxes and drive that vehicle for a year and probably break even on it, which I thought was a pretty good deal. But guess where I ordered it? I didn't order it from my friend that was a dealer. I had to order that car. Now, this was about a year ago. I had to order it right from Ford Motor Company on their website. Then they tell you who do you want the dealer to be that they drop it off on. So the dealer wasn't even involved in the ordering. And I think that's going to be the wave of the future. I think that there are still going to be dealerships. Now, this is one thing I'm a little confused with Tesla, because they have no dealerships. When you order the Tesla, do they actually bring it to you on the house like Carvana has? Remember, Carvana is that used car dealership? Everybody knows about Carvana. I've got a new article on Carvana, which is a little bit embarrassing to our Carvana. There are 4, what do they call them? Kiosks, I guess. There are 4 kiosks in Florida. And I forget where they are, but I'll get to that in a minute. But Carvana is in trouble because they are, and I'll tell you what, Carvana has taken the used car by storm. Carvana delivers right to your door. I'm sure everybody's probably heard of Carvana and have seen the ads. Well, they're in trouble because they have sold so many cars, they can't keep up with the titling. And matter of fact, in Florida, they've gotten in hot water. Online used car retailer, by January 31st, they have to submit title applications for all vehicles sold before December 1st. They are selling cars and not providing titles. By state law, you have to provide a title within 30 days. You can extend that by one time up to 60 days. And the reason they have 30 days is because somebody might trade in a car, there might be a payoff. You send the person the title. The checks have to be held for 10 days. So sometimes it'll take 20 or 30 days to get the title. But they have hundreds of people that have bought cars in Florida that have had their cars for over 8 months and still don't have the title. Well, number one, those people are driving that car illegally. They can't. You can't get your registration unless you provide proof of title. If you can't provide proof of title, you can't get registered. And there are people right now that, and they had this on a local, I think it was in Miami, where they were interviewing people that had their cars parked in their driveway, and they're actually renting cars because the police will not let them drive their car because it's not registered properly. And they have multiple tickets already. So Carvana's in hot water right now, and I hope and I think it's just growing pains. I don't want to throw them under a bus, but it said that the email reportedly included widespread showing 300 Carvana sales dating to 2019 that have not had their titles transferred. Dating back to 2019 have not had their title transferred. 100 of them out of Florida. Florida state law requires retailers to apply for titles within 30 days. I know we're very diligent on that. When you buy a car for Frontier Motors, people are always amazed how fast we get the tag from. Because I'm not sure if you know this, folks, or not, but in Florida, if you buy from a dealer, you can't go do your own tag work. The dealer has to do it. And the reason they did that, 20-some years ago, they changed that because a lot of people will never go do it. People say, I'll get around, I'll go to the tag office. They come back a year later, their tag's been expired for a year. And guess what? They never paid the taxes on the car, and they never paid the registration, they never paid for title. So the state stepped in, this is years, decades ago, they stepped in and said, here's what we're gonna do. If you buy from a car dealership, the dealer is gonna do your tag work for you. And some dealers drag their feet. We don't. Sometimes we'll do the tag work the same day you buy the car. And right now, I'm not sure if you know this or not, but we actually have the ability to hand out tags right at the dealership. And the same thing, titles are now electronic. Remember the old days where you got a title? The title would come in the mail about 30 days later. Well, now it's electronically. It goes to the motor vehicle department, and they have your title on file. When that car gets sold, you call them up and say, hey, I want my electronic title, and then they print it off for you, and you pay them $10, and you get your paper title if you so want it. We don't do that. We just transfer them automatically. So anyways, getting off the subject a little bit right here, we talked about a little bit what we offer Frontier Motors and why you should come to us. Let's say you're going to buy a brand new car. We can't talk you out of it. I'll tell you, like this Armada I've got in the back here, I'll tell you I can save you $5,000, maybe $7,000 on the car. And you said, I don't care, Ivan, I have saved my money all my life. I got my big inheritance. I won the lottery. I'm going to buy brand spanking new. Well, the way that we can help you, even if you buy brand spanking new, is we can appraise your car for you. Do not go to the car dealership, the new car dealer, with your trade-in without stopping at Frontier Motors first and getting that second opinion on your car. And we can do that within 15 minutes. We will put it in writing and say, okay, we'll write you a check for $20,000 for your car. So now you go to the dealer of your choice and you make your deal, your best deal on the new car, and you're happy with the deal that you're making, and maybe they'll even throw in a $500 rebate, and then you throw them the keys for your car and say, okay, now tell me what my car's worth. And they come back about 10 minutes later and they tell you, we'll give you $18,000 for your car. Well, I always feel that if you're spending, let's say you're spending $50,000 with a new car dealer, they should give you more for your trade-in than I'm giving you if you're not buying a car from me. I'm giving you $20,000. The dealer that you're doing business with are giving you $18,000, which is the better deal. So I'm not telling you not to buy the new car. I'm just telling you, let us get the trade-in. And what you can do also, folks, is you can trade the car in at that dealer, and I'll buy it right from that dealership. We had that happen with the local Subaru dealer the other day, where one of our customers said, I'm going to buy a brand new Subaru, and I had to use one, but they didn't want to use one, even though I could save money. He said, I'm buying brand new. My wife will not have anything to do with the used car, and I couldn't even show it to him. You know, the way that I sell our used cars is people are always so surprised when I show them a used car. And they said, well, I can't even tell it's you. Because when you open the door, it still smells like, it got that new car smell. Let's say our car is, 8 months old. It still has that new car smell. And they look at it and they can't, some of them still have the plastic on the seats. And how they'll have the little tags in there, where the airbag is and things like that. Our cars will look like that, even though they might be 6 months or 7 months old or 8 months old. So people, I can normally convince them to buy used. But some people have that attitude like, why did somebody get rid of a used car? I'm not buying somebody else's problems. And they no matter what I say and how much I can save them, they're going to buy that new car. And that's what happened last month when they went and bought a brand new Subaru. I got the trade-in, and they traded over there. Now, why would you trade over there? Why not just sell it right to me? Well, one reason is they had a pretty expensive car. Let's make this easy for you. Let's say you have a $30,000 trade-in, and you're going to buy a $30,000 Toyota Corolla. You can actually literally still buy a car for $30,000, even though the average is around $45,000 right now. But you can buy a brand new Corolla for $30,000. Let's say you got a pickup truck that's worth $30,000. Guess how much taxes you have to pay if you trade? 0. You don't pay any taxes. If you sold me the car and you bought a $30,000 car, you got to pay $2,100 in taxes. And that's how a lot of times a dealer can talk you into trading, even if they're giving you less money, because the bottom line will be the same because you're saving money in taxes. Well, you can have the best of both worlds. You can trade the car there, save the taxes, and I'll buy the car right from them. So if I give you the extra $2,000, you'll get the extra $2,000. I'll still end up with the car, and you save the extra money in the taxes. So this is the free advice that I was talking about. We can walk you through that. Some people don't get it. So we go over and over until you've got it and you know which is the best deal. Now, I still have customers that just call us up and say, hey, I got this car. I've got a new car ordered. I just want to get rid of my car. What will you write me a check for? And we can do this over the phone, folks. I praise about 20 cars a day from private individuals because of this show. Or they call us, one of our managers up, and they say, hey, I've got this car, this car, this car, and this is the equipment, and this is the condition. How much will you give me? And you give us a 17-digit ID number so we can run the history report. And right over the phone, we can tell you, this is how much we'll pay you for your car. The only time that deviates is when you come in and there's something that's not been disclosed. For example, let's say you got a crack in the windshield. Let's say your tires are bald. Let's say the brakes squeak, or let's say something doesn't work and you didn't even know it didn't work. And I had this happen the other day where the husband brought in the wife's car and she didn't tell him the right rear window didn't work. It needed a new window motor. And this particular car was an import. It was quite expensive. It was about $500. So we told him, we'll still buy the car from you, but we're going to deduct it for $500 because obviously the window has to work. And he didn't know it wasn't working. So it wasn't really that he did this on purpose, but we still end up with the car and we just deduct it. But other than that, we will give you a figure right over the phone. If you bring us the car, we'll give you an appraisal within 15 minutes. And we'll also do that one thing I talked about before is we'll give you that free Carfax report. So let's say you're buying a car from a neighbor and you want to know if it's a good deal or not. Well, get that ID number anyways. Let me plug it in the system. Let me run the Carfax report. Carfax report with taxes is about $43. We run them at no charge for you, and I can run multiples. One reason I can do this is I pay one flat fee, and I can run as many as I want. So that's why we've gotten the word out. I think we've been doing this for about 8 years with Carfax, where they had one price selling to us, where they said, you guys run so many, we run around 5,000 to 6,000 of them a month. So they gave us one price to run that many, and I don't run that many for the dealership. So that's why we advertise. I've had a customer call a couple of months ago. He had 6 different cars that he wanted ID number runs for. And our salespeople actually do this. And then we'll tell you, if the Carfax is good, we'll tell you, hey, it's a one-owner car. It's never been an accident. I can see all the oil changes are done on time. If it's bad, we'll tell you that also. I had a customer call the other day and say, I found a car that was $2,500 less than your car online. But your car's overpriced. It was a little Sentra. I said, that's impossible. There's no way that our car would be $2,500 more than the competition. It might be $500 more. Maybe we have a better color. Maybe we have less miles. Maybe we have more equipment. But this car supposedly was a twin. It was $2,500 more because when they gave me the ID number, I ran the Carfax. It was a total car. The car had been totaled, bought by a body shop, and rebuilt. Well, rebuilt should be 50% of value. In other words, if this car was a $15,000 car, they should be buying this car for almost $7,500 less than ours, not only $2,500 less. So it wasn't a good deal at all. And most people won't have anything to do with a rebuilt car. Some people don't care as long as they get a bargain on that car. And a little note, a lot of dealerships, a lot of financial institutions will not finance a rebuilt car, and a lot of insurance companies will not insure a car that's been rebuilt. So just a little note, if you see a car that's rebuilt, you might want to turn the other way. Unless you're in a financial position to pay cash for that car and not have insured other than liability, it might make sense for you under those conditions. And we also, I talked about before, when you get into a car accident, how we can help you. If somebody runs a light and they T-bone you and you've got $10,000 worth of a claim that somebody else is going to pay, you have what we call diminished value. Diminished value now is that, let's say 6 months later, you say, hey, I got tired of that car. I got it fixed over. I'll give you an example that we had a couple years ago where a customer had a BMW that had $15,000 worth of damage. It was a 5 Series BMW. Very expensive car. It was about a $50,000 car. It had extensive damage. They called it moderate, not major, but moderate damage. It was about $10,000. They had it fixed at Sandy Sansing. They bought the car at Sandy Sansing. They had it fixed at their body shop. I told them that the diminished value was about $6,000. So I gave them a letter that said that Frontier Motors feels that the vehicle's value now in repaired condition is worth $6,000 less than if it hadn't been in an accident. They took that to the other people's insurance company, and guess what? They actually got a check for $6,000 from the other people's insurance company because we gave them $6,000 less for that car. So you should be made whole. Now, a little side note, folks, if you hit a tree, they're not going to pay a diminished value. It has to be somebody else causing the damage. Somebody else has to be at fault. So if you run a red light and run into somebody else, you're not going to get diminished value, but they will get it from their insurance companies. And we advertise that. We give you letters of diminished value, hoping that you can get extra money. And maybe we'll end up with that car. We actually took that car on consignment after it was repaired at Sandy Stancing and sold it, but we told the next customer about it. We gave them that car for $6,000 less. We still made a little bit of money on it. They were happy. They were able to get the vehicle inspected. They still had a better warranty on the car. I always sometimes snicker when people say, I don't want a car that's been in an accident. Let's say it's a 10-year-old and it's been in a major accident. They put brand new parts on it. They don't put used parts on this car. Now, if you got, let's say you got 5,000 new parts on this car, and they're all brand new. Shouldn't that car be worth more? Let's say you have a new air conditioner, you have a new radiator, you have all new struts on the front, you got brand new fenders and a new hood, new insulation, new wiring, everything's new. The value of the car goes down because it's a psychological thing. I think it's probably started years ago when body shops didn't do a very good job fixing cars. After the car was in an accident, the car never never ran right again. Now body shops they got laser machines. They do such a good job in fixing a car. I'm going to tell you, I'm not even that worried about selling a car that's been in an accident as long as I know who fixed it and if they're a reputable body shop. And of course, in our cars, we unlock every single car every morning. We have 275 cars in inventory right now. Our salespeople unlock them, and in the glove box is the Carfax report for that car. So you don't even have to ask us for it. It's automatically put into the glove box of the car. So you can look at the history report. If it's bad, it's going to be in there. If it's good, and of course, I don't buy cars that have bad Carfaxes. I will put them on consignment, and I will make sure that the next owner signs a form saying that you know about the history report. We don't want any surprises. And by the way, folks, it's not illegal to sell a car that's been in an accident. It's only illegal to sell a car that it's gray market. Gray market is a car that's been totaled. Gray market is a vehicle, for example, a lemon law buyback that wasn't disclosed. Maybe an odometer problem where we had a new odometer put in a car and reached 50,000, it's got 150,000 on it. It's illegal to sell that car without disclosing it. It is not illegal to sell a car that's been in an accident. You have to do your due diligence. And if something falls through the cracks, then it's your fault, not the dealer's fault. Now, at Frontier Motors, we disclose every accident. But the way we disclose it is by giving you that history report. And I'm going to say that after the history reports, they're pretty darn accurate. Years ago when they first started out with these history reports, there was a lot of things that fell through the cracks, but they've gotten it down to a pretty good science where within about 30 to 90 days, whatever happened with that car is on there. Every once in a while, a car that's been in an accident today and got fixed the next week might not have it on there yet. And that's where you have to do your due diligence by making sure you get the car inspected. We urge everybody to get a car inspected, whether they buy it from us or they buy it from somewhere else. Now, we do our own inspection, but don't trust a car dealer to do it. We do a good safety check on the car because when we put a car on the lot, we want to make sure that everything's running. We don't want you coming back 2 days later and saying, hey, the window doesn't work, my tail light doesn't work, the third light's burnt out, the headlight doesn't work. We make sure that all those safety features on the car are done. We make sure the fluids are checked on the car. We take them for a test drive. We do the history report. So we do the best we can. Now, folks, anything can break. I remember listening to Bobby Leica's show years ago, maybe 15 years ago, where he said that the average car has 20,000 moving parts. I was kind of snickered when a customer says, well, I got a brand new motor in the car. Well, you still have 15,000 parts in that car that have 150,000 miles on them. So a lot of things can break on a car, but you want to go with the best car possible when you buy an older used car. Of course, with a new car, very few of them are unreliable. Even when I talk about a Tesla, we're talking about things that break down the road. We're not talking about the car that comes out of the chute and all of a sudden has issues right off the bat. This was after 24 months, these reliability ratings I talked about before. So what we can do at Frontier Motors, folks, because we're an independent dealer, we are not here to sell you one make and model. Guess what they're going to sell you when you go to the Honda dealership and you say, well, I'm just kicking tires. They're going to tell you why the Honda is better than a Toyota, than the Mazda, than the Subaru, than every other car out there. We don't do that. You know why? Because we sell them all. So you come to Frontier Motors, you're looking at a mid-sized vehicle, you're looking at the Mazda, you're looking at the Subaru, maybe the Lexus, maybe the Infiniti, the BMW. We have them all lined up. All you do is pick out a car. We make it so easy for you. It's almost like going to a car show. Wouldn't it be cool just to go to one dealership, deal with one salesperson, and have all makes and models on the lot, being able to test drive all of them. If they're the wrong color, what we do is we go out and get you the right color. If it's the wrong year, we get you the right car. But you can look at them all without having to go from dealer to dealer to dealer. And then we do something different. We give you that out the door price in writing, even after the trade-in, so you can compare it to a new one if that's what you want. We've only got a minute left. Check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. Check out our website, frontiermotorsinc.com. You're going to see 275 cars. Again, we want to buy your car. Do not put it on Craigslist. Don't put it on the Facebook thing. Bring it to us and we'll write you a check. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.